Today's Behind the Bloom podcast is a companion to episode 207, Thinking Outside the Vase, where I share many ideas on where to find unique containers for your cut flower arrangement creations. We'll make dirt cake, create a stencil flower craft, and you'll meet my good luck charm, Jenn Pascua. Let's think outside the vase today on Behind the Bloom with me and RJ Pohl. It's fun to arrange flowers, and today RJ and I are sharing unique and creative ways to think outside the vase. The simple act of arranging flowers allows us to release endorphins that make us feel happier and less stressed. Finding a memorable container for your flowers helps us evoke cherished memories and increases the health and wellness benefits of flowers. What memories might you have tucked away on a shelf or in a closet that you can rescue and fill with flowers? Cal Flowers is a proud sponsor of Behind the Bloom and Life in Bloom, where flowers and wellness go hand in hand.
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Good. How about you, RJ?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
Excited for this one?
We are. It's our companion episode to number 207, Thinking Outside the Vase. And one of my favorite things to go antique shopping.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, we were just talking off camera about kind of vintagey things. So I know it's a big passion of yours, and I like to go thrifting. Amanda and I go to like Goodwill all the time, and if there's an antique store or something, we always poke our heads in. So I'm excited to talk about all this.
Okay, I have to tell you about my Goodwill story.
Oh.
So I have an orange Jeep. So my Jeep is bright orange. We give stuff to Goodwill all the time. So when we have clothing, when we have extra stuff, whatever, I would love to be a garage sale person, but I'm not, because I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's all great, but I'm not a garage sale. So I would just pack it up. And so one day I was pulling up, and the person that comes out to greet you and take your stuff said, "Oh, it's the orange Jeep." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "We all say when the orange Jeep comes, there's going to be really good stuff."
Oh.
And I'm just like, yeah. And part of it too was that Kel used to work for Wolverine. He was also sample size. So he would, after shoots, sometimes he would get shoes and he could bring them home or whatever, or they would have sales and you could get shoes for nothing, basically.
Cool.
So then we would take those too, and there would always be like, "Oh, there's shoes in here, and there's clothes in here, there's and so there's all that." So I think that's also that's very much part of it. So yeah, but every once in a while I will do your thing where I go to Goodwill to see if I can find some vases.
Oh yeah, there's always a great selection, and they're like
exactly.
$1. Yeah,
I have one that I just adored, and it has a crack in it all of a sudden, and I don't know when it cracked, whether it was me, because I clean my vases with hot water, so maybe I did it. It's a crazy, and I don't know where it ever came from or anything, but it was just it was $1 when I bought it, I think, and it was just like, and I've loved it, but I gotta finally probably replace that. So Okay, so my Bloom 365 tip today is liner it up. Is your favorite container not actually watertight? Use a liner. Slip a smaller sized waterproof vase or container inside something that isn't waterproof so that you can arrange in it. And we actually do that in this episode. So I thought it was a good way to bring that around for this. But I mean, there's lots of things. My favorite things to use are like cottage cheese containers, yogurt containers, things that we have that hold food are usually ideal for dropping down inside something to make it waterproof. Or you can use like little glasses or, fruit jars. Recycled stuff works really well to line most things. So,
it's nice to repurpose stuff like that too. Like the cottage cheese containers. I feel like so many times we use those and they just end up in the recycling, or it's like it's nice that it can get a second life and be used for something. So
the Garlic Girls, my friends, the Garlic Girls, that we'll talk about in the future. We exchange food back and forth. And so I have a big stack because she's always so generous about giving us wonderful, wonderful things to eat. So I've got all these that are her containers that need to go back to her, but I got to fill some with flowers before I take them back. So there's that. I always like to, when I'm returning a vase, to fill it with flowers too. So yeah. We start this episode in an antique store.
Yeah. And so it's in Grand Rapids. Was the antique store, or where?
And it's no longer there.
Oh, no.
So this was before the pandemic, and then this one did not survive. There are many other antique stores here in Grand Rapids that are there. There's also a wonderful one over in Saugatuck and Douglas that's called the Blue Star Antique Mall. That's wonderful. We also go to the Allegan Antique Fair in Michigan, which is on the Allegan Fairgrounds. You and I were just talking about the Kane County Toy Show. Yeah, it's a vintage toy show that's in St. Charles that we go to that's down in Chicago. Whenever we plan a trip, especially when we plan a trip with Grace and Nick, we put antique shows or antique stores on our agenda so that we spend a day doing that. We went to London. We went to this wonderful little outdoor one, and I got these little pill boxes that have little flower mosaics on the top.
Oh, cool.
Wonderful. And I mean, that's the challenge is when you're on a trip, what can you pack?
Right. Yeah. A pillbox is something you can.
Yeah, you can pack that.
Yeah.
Correct. But sometimes I will buy things like when we go to Palm Springs. Oh, if we go to Palm Springs, I got to make at least 3 days for me to go through the vintage stores because I just love them all. And I want to take time. We all say this. So even my friend Barbara, we've talked about the flower frogs and stuff with her too and going to vintage stores. But we all agree that the best thing to have when you go to a vintage antique store is Kelly.
Oh, okay. He has a good eye?
No, he's hysterical. It's funny. And he will just, he finds all this stuff and then he'll tell us stories about it or make up something. The other essential thing, okay, here's the other essential thing is now Nick. Because Nick loves to barter.
Oh.
He is crazy about it. He is full-fledged Dutch, Nick Boersma. And so he's always just like, Uncle Jay, are you interested in that? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll go get it for you. And then he like comes back and he's like, I only had to pay this much for it. And he'll be, and he's always like, and sometimes he'll be like, well, let's see, I don't have a $10 bill. Do you have a $10 bill? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I'm going to say, I only have this $10 bill. And I'm like, all right, you go. Because I hate it. I absolutely detest it.
Yeah. There's an art to it. And I feel like some people have it and some people don't. I'm not a barterer. I'm not. Good for Nick. I wish I had more of that in me.
I know. It's really. Now I am very. I really am. It's important for me to do that.
Yeah.
But like Kelly always just makes me laugh the whole time we're going through because he'll be like, "Look at this," or "Oh, did you see this?" Or we'll see something that we remember from our childhood and we'll tell each other stories. And that's what we love about going to the antique fair is we talk about stuff and it makes us interact with each other and it makes us look at stuff. And he's also really good about. Because I am not good about this. He'll also say, you have that.
Oh.
And I'll be like, no. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, you have that. Don't buy it. And I'll get home and I have it.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, you were right. I already had that. So yeah, so that is a good thing too. But I mean, we just love that. We're planning a little trip with Grace and Nick this summer. Grace has already mapped out all the antique stores.
Oh, cool.
And just goes, so this day we're going to these antique stores. And I'm like, perfect. I love that. And I like that they appreciate it too. And I think Grace's dad, Kelly's brother, was a big guy for reclaiming our childhood. Because I know that that's what baby boomers do. I'm a baby boomer. Kelly's not, but I'm a baby boomer and I want to reclaim my childhood. And so that's part of what I look for, and so yeah.
Well, it's so fun that like, I mean, we can go back and look at things that are still there from our childhood. I feel like people who are kids now, is that like going to go to like the app store? Like, I mean, are there still like physical things?
I think it's interesting though, because I watch Collector's Call on MeTV, which has the girl who played Blair on Facts of Life.
Oh, okay.
And she goes to collections people have all around the country. And recently they've had some younger people who are interested, and I'm kind of like, oh, I've seen those things before.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a joke right now going around about Beanie Babies and stuff, because they're really not worth anything anymore. But, and someone was saying that where did your anxiety start? It started from the fact that your mother bought you a Princess Diana bear and then put it in a box and wouldn't let you touch it.
Yeah, can't take the tags off.
And I think, okay, yeah, that's true, So I think that there are things like that, We would buy we still do. We would buy Beanie Babies and give them to our dogs.
Oh, I made some decent money off the Beanie Babies, Jay. Yeah.
All right, good for you.
Me and my brothers had them, and my parents sold them like when they were taking off, and
before the bubble burst.
Right, yeah,
Sure.
And I think my dad jokes that they paid for part of my college tuition was from Beanie Baby sales.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
We still have a finite collection in a bag in a cedar chest.
Oh, I mean, they could come back. You never know.
And it's interesting. So Kelly used to work for Wolverine Worldwide, which made Hush Puppy shoes. And they made Hush Puppy Beanie Babies. And I looked them up the other day on eBay, and they're kind of worth something. And I got some in there.
Oh.
And there's like Hush Puppy Beanie Babies that look like a tiger. and look like a leopard and look like, so that's kind of interesting and weird,
Yeah.
yeah. But so, I mean, there's some stuff like that in there. And then there's a few other Beanie Babies I have in there, but I don't really know. Plug for a friend of mine, Matt Paxton, who was on Hoarders, who has a new show on Discovery called Filthy Fortunes. I am just going to say this. He goes around to these people's houses and he tries to help them cash out what they've collected to help them with struggles that they're having and challenges. It is a fabulous show. It is so great. Legacy List was his first show, and that was on PBS. This is on Discovery Channel. Legacy List was, I just always thought it was an elaborate game of hide and seek. And I would tell him that if he was sitting right here with me. But this Filthy Fortunes is a great show, and it touches my heart, and it makes me know what a wonderful person Matt Paxton is. So just in case you haven't caught it yet, catch it. It's great, but Filthy Fortunes, and it's very fun. And he's a great human being, and I really like him, and he's a good friend. So that's good.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, so we were in this antique store just looking at stuff, and it is funny. So you mentioned the boat serving tray, which I did buy.
I was going to say.
I didn't buy the little spinning one that was chartreuse green. I should have bought it.
I was wondering how much of the stuff that you were looking at made it back and didn't make it on
Most
camera.
of it.
Okay.
Most of it. Yeah. The serving dish made it for sure. There's a great antique store here in Grand Rapids that has all this mid-century modern cupboard type things, shelves with sliding glass. And he says it's so hard to sell them because people don't want to display stuff. I've got like 10 or 12 of them in there. I mean, they're in places they shouldn't even be in the house. Okay, I'm just going to say that because I want to look at the stuff I bought.
Right.
I don't want it in boxes. I bought these new strip lights that I'm going to install in them so that I can light them up.
Cool.
Because I want to be able to see them. I have a tendency to collect stuff by color too. So that's my other issue is that I will often, look for stuff that is color-based. So that I have an aqua collection. The flower room is yellow. So anything that's yellow goes in there. The bedroom is pink and purple. So anything that's pink and purple goes in there. We've got a brown TV room and with an aqua accent. So if it's brown or aqua, it can go in there. So we have different rooms. This room is green that we're in right now. The office is green. And the office is more themed towards Disney cartoon stuff. And not just Disney, but also cartoon stuff. So there's Disney memorabilia in here. There's comic book memorabilia in here. There's, so there's a lot of stuff. So that's office that we're kind of surrounded by. So, okay, and let's see if I can do this. I don't even know if I can do this. This will make you all. So I've got
cool.
So those are all comic book covers that include apes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And none of them are graded, and Kelly was giving me a hard time. He's like, well, none of these are worth anything. Well, no, but I only paid $1 for them. So, and so they're a decoration on the wall.
Yeah.
But they're not graded. On Filthy Fortunes the other night, this lady had a box of graded, it was like a dozen graded comic books. They were worth $27,000.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, where did she get those? And why were they already graded? So I wanted to know, and I got to call Matt and ask him, what was the deal on that? But she had all this other stuff too. So, I mean, it's very interesting. And I'm not a gun guy. You're not going to find a gun in my house. Guns, I guess, are a big deal. And money, old money is a big deal for them and stuff. So, it is very interesting. I mean, if you were to come to my house, you're going to find vessels that will hold flowers. So yes, that's what's here. We have vessels that hold flowers.
Well, I like all the different vessels that you had on the show then that you put out there. There was some cool.
Right.
You had those seed packets that you glued to the wood box.
I thought that was so
cool.
Packet.
Yeah.
That box with those seed packets decoupaged on the side is in the garage that you saw. So it's sitting on a shelf out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's there. So, and we've also talked about, I'm joking with Matt that I want him to come here and fix this, but I don't know if I would get rid of it. Okay. So here, pipe dream, right? When we were in Stockholm with Grace and Nick, we went to the ABBA Museum.
Oh,
and
cool.
they had all this stuff that they had kept from their careers that now made the display. And it was really cool to see all that stuff. And when we go to Disney, we go to the Disney Family Museum in California in the Presidio. There's all this stuff that people kept.
Oh,
you know? And I'm like, will anybody ever want to make a museum installation about life in bloom? Because
that's
I have all
idea.
this stuff.
Yeah.
But is that a pipe dream? That might be a pipe dream. I don't know.
I'd go to it, Jay. I think there's a lot of people that would.
Yeah. I mean, and I have the original scripts from every show.
Oh,
you know?
cool. Yeah.
And like when we were in Hawaii and we went to see and this coming season we go to Aloha T-shirts, Bailey's Aloha T-shirts, Mr. Bailey. And Mr. Bailey's wife was friends with Dano on Hawaii Five-0
Oh.
original.
Oh, okay.
And so her husband worked on the sets. He has some original scripts from original Hawaii Five-0
Whoa.
with what was Dano's name? What was Dano's real name? He's Helen Hayes' son. But yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
so they have that stuff, right?
That's so cool.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like, well, is that worth something? Is this memorabilia that I've had? And Kelly's
Yeah.
like, no one cares. I'm just like, I know. It's a pipe
I
dream.
will say, Jay, in your defense too, that this is all stuff that gets used. All these vessels you get used for flowers, for arranging.
Correct.
So
yeah.
they do serve a purpose aside from collecting, that you get to like use these every day and put arrangements in them and things like that. So
it is true.
yeah.
And I mean, and I suppose but I think you do. Because here's my other thing. Grace and Nick get everything. Okay.
Mhm.
So when Kel and I are gone, Grace and Nick, and Grace sometimes will say to me, what am I going to do with this, Uncle Jay? And I'm just like, you can sell it at that point in time. I don't care, I guess. You will have the benefit of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm selling it. If it's worth anything, I don't know, So yeah, there's that. When we went to visit Phil Rolota, he had vases that were given to him that were made by other creative flower people. And I was like, this is an entire museum right here of floristry. It's a smaller collection of people. I mean, only I am going to know that he has a container that was made by Gregor Lersch. And I don't know if that means much to anyone else but me, but I'm like, where does this stuff go? And there used to be a museum at Texas A&M for floristry, and I don't know if it's still there. And like my friend Richard Siebold has a collection of wire frames that made all of these set pieces like Gates Ajar and a broken wheel for funerals, and he donated them to the Tigers, Missouri State.
Oh, okay.
Missouri, Mizzou.
Oh, yeah.
Mizzou.
Okay.
So they're the Tigers. And so they have that collection and it's on display there.
Oh.
So, I mean, and the Smithsonian has a collection of some stuff, that is not on display right now, but has been in past. So,
Okay.
I guess that stuff's valuable.
Yeah.
Wow, we really digressed on that whole thing. So yeah, we used the box, we glued those, I decoupaged those to that.
Mm-hmm.
The Cocker Spaniel, obviously the
Yeah.
Cocker Spaniels. It's right over here on the shelf in this office right now.
Oh.
The bamboo vases,
Those
I
were
really like
cool.
that too. So
Yeah.
I got on like a kick and I have like 9 of them.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think I have all the colors that were ever created.
Oh, I liked how they joined together. So it was like 3
Correct.
different openings, but it was all
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like a blue one, and there's a brown one, and there's a tan one, and there's a yellow one, and I have all those. So
Oh.
and the Cocker Spaniel one too. I have that in many different colors too.
Cool.
So there is another Cocker Spaniel that comes up in another episode that I have all but one. There's a lavender one that's eluding me that I've heard tell of. I've seen a picture of it, but I've never seen it anywhere else. And so people do talk about that too. I did indeed use rosemary in this. So yeah.
So can you talk about, I know we've talked a little bit about just how it helps with your memory, and you told the story about your dad, and I thought that was just such a powerful story. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
The rosemary is it is the fragrance of it. Supposedly when you touch it and you smell the fragrance, and when you touch it, that's important because the essential oils are released. It's just like lavender.
Mm-hmm.
So if you rub your hands on it and then you smell your fingers or you smell the actual stem of it, it is proven to spark short-term and long-term memory. Or it is also known to allow you to remember something that you are trying to remember when you are smelling it. Here's a little bit more about that. When we toured the Rose Story farm in California, which is a heirloom rose farm that it's right outside of Santa Barbara. Julia Child used to go there, and there was a bench. They made a bench for her, and she would sit in a garden of her Julia Child roses. This lady told me that when you smell something, close your eyes.
Okay.
And inhale for 3 seconds and exhale for 5. And then you are registering that fragrance and that moment in your memory bank. What they did was they would say, okay, now this, because I noticed that they would say, this rose has licorice notes. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, smell it. And I was like, I don't smell licorice. And they were like, okay, do it that way. Intake for 3 seconds, outtake for 5. And then she said, now if I say licorice to you, can you smell the licorice? And you're like, yes.
Interesting.
So that's how to smell the notes as well as registering it in your memory for what you saw. And so, like, I would encourage, my dad was always looking for his keys. Okay.
Mhm.
And I would say, rub the rosemary plant and then smell it and then think about the keys. And he'd be like, oh, I know where I put them. And I was like, oh, okay. So it works.
Mhm.
And I don't know. My dad suffered long-term 3 to 5 years of memory loss. And at the end, he could not remember me as I look. He remembered me as his son in other old pictures. But what I looked like currently, he did not register. And I can appreciate that. I don't look like how I used to in some ways. I would come there and he would say, I know you say that you're my son, but I know you're not because I have a picture of my son. And he would go get this picture of me and bring it back and say, this is my son. And I was like, it's me, but okay. And he'd say, but you're very nice. And my dad was mean. My dad was a Marine and he was very, very angry most of his life. And he thought people were lazy and they didn't work hard enough and that the only way to really be a good person in this whole world was to go into the service. And, he was a lot. And when he got dementia, he became nice and sweet and kind. And everybody, what a cute little old man. And I was just like, oh my God. But okay, so I will finish up with this story because I owe that. And because when we're recording this, tomorrow is my dad's birthday. Would have been my dad's birthday. Okay. And so my dad, the last time I saw him, my dad was not affectionate in any way, shape, or form. So I would always hug him and tell him I loved him. And he hated that.
Oh.
He would always just be like, go like completely stiff body and be like, oh, and it's, I love you, Dad. And he would be just like, yes, okay. And so when I was there, I hugged him and I said, I love you. And he said, I have to tell you, I know you're not my son, but you're a very nice man. And if you were my son, I would be very proud of you.
Oh.
My dad was never proud of me. So that was a win.
Oh,
that
wow,
was
okay.
a win that the stranger he liked. He liked that stranger. He didn't like that other guy, I think, but or whatever, but he liked the stranger. It's not a sad story. I think it's a great story. And I was like, wow, the last time I saw him, he told me he was proud of me and would have liked to have me be his son. That's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
So so that's where the rosemary thing, and the rosemary thing is also on our website in the research.
Oh, okay.
So I will put that link in this so that you can go read all the research about flowers, but the rosemary one is in there as well, is in that group that we've compiled at ubloom.com. When it comes to flowers lasting as long as possible, I always choose Kreisel Flower Food. Flowers benefit from food and keeping the water clean. In my experience, Kreisel Flower Food does the best job. It's formulated by scientists. My favorite product is Kreisel Professional 3. Kreisel Flower Food products are available at their website, kreiselflowerfood.com. That's CHRYSAL flowerfood.com. And be sure to use our discount code, UBLOOM10, for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through ubloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit thelifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support. You get the feeling of just taking your time to make a bouquet is part of the enjoyment of the process.
Right. You talked about the Zen-like state that you get when you're doing that, and I thought that was so I've been, just since we've been recording, Jay, I've been doing arrangements with Amanda way more than I used to just 'cause, it's I realize how much I enjoy it through talking to you, and so I totally get that Zen-like feeling when I'm doing it, but I wanted to say I also get that Zen-like feeling when I watch your show.
I think it's a tie-in.
Yeah, you do such a good job of like conveying that to your viewers that, even if I don't have access to flowers, I can turn on your show and kind of get that Zen-like state just from watching you do an arrangement. So I just wanted to say how much I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah.
And interestingly enough, that was not planned, but it is something we discovered about now in this season 2.
Oh, okay.
Because then this was coming out during the pandemic and people were telling us, oh my God, the world is so uncertain, we don't know, but we can relax for 30 minutes as we watch your show. And I think that that's part of it. I even find myself, I better hurry up and make a flower arrangement. Don't do that.
Right, right.
Don't do that. And I think it's part of what florists don't realize is they're on a schedule, so they have to hurry every day and make a flower arrangement. They have orders they have to put out. They got to get it going. Then reward yourself at the end of the week and make one where you just relax a little bit. And I know that would have been a very hard thing for my father because he was very much about, we got to make money, so don't be taking too long to make that arrangement. But I think that in itself is the bad part about it. The other thing about me, too, is because I'm used to flowers, okay, and I do them on a regular basis, I find huge relaxation in cooking. I find a very similar relaxation for myself. I have learned now to take time to prep for dinner. That I'm prepping the items and putting them together, or I'm making a cake, and I try not to hurry that process too much so that I can enjoy the relaxation aspect of it. And that's really what this is about, is that part of it. So I think that that's very important.
I do the same thing when I cook, Jay, and Amanda thinks I'm crazy, but I love like chopping vegetables, which I think a lot of people hate.
Yeah. I do too.
I put on music, I get everything set out, get a cutting board, and I just kind of enjoy the process. And if it takes a little extra time, that's fine. And it's just like something about just setting aside the time. There's nothing else you have to focus on, just kind of getting into the moment. I mean, it's a special thing that you don't get that often in your day. So I think it's important to like appreciate that when you have it.
Absolutely. I think, the other interesting thing I've noticed too is that I try now to do dinner in servings.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I don't do it so quickly. I'm an excessive fast eater.
Oh, okay.
I eat, and that came from my childhood. My mom would fix enough food for 6 or 7 people, and we had 5 people in our family. So if you didn't eat fast, you didn't get seconds.
Okay.
And I was trained to do that. And I was a fat little kid. I weighed 174 pounds, and I was 4'7", and I was too big because I would eat fast. And even to this day, Kel or Grace or Nick will say, "You eat so fast, Uncle Jay." And I have to remember to not eat fast. And so doing servings, doing a salad course, then bringing out another course, then bringing out another course helps slow the process down and helps me relax a little bit. But I'm still guilty of it because I'm still like, what are we going to do next? And just trying to turn that off for everyone is a really, really hard thing. And I think that that's part of the whole message behind Life in Bloom is to just slow it down. Let's slow it down for a half hour.
Yeah.
So you will really love Breathe and Bloom when you get to see Breathe and Bloom.
Oh,
because Breathe and Bloom is 30 seconds just dedicated to slowing you down. That's going to be in this new season coming out in April.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay, so we did dirt cake pots, and that's just funny. It just looks exactly like dirt, and it's Oreos, basically, and it just looks like dirt, and it's fun. And with the pudding and everything, that goes very well.
And the clay pots too. Like I've seen, I've seen the dirt cup in like plastic cups when it's clearly a dessert. The way you made it, it really looked like it was dirt.
I loved the method of shoving the cookie down in the bottom so it plugged the hole.
Yeah.
That's a really good trick.
Yeah.
That's like a great, a great cooking trick, and then it was cute to have the little mint just in each one of them, and I think that was cute.
Yeah.
The blueberry smash is a great cocktail. It's made with grapefruit juice. We also stenciled the burlap things. It's really easy. You can buy those stencils at the craft store, and you can buy spray paint, and you can stencil anything you want. And I just thought those hydrangeas were gorgeous.
Mhm.
The blue hydrangeas and the purple tulips were all from Sun Valley, which is no longer in business, but they were absolutely gorgeous. And that was just a pretty little setup. You know that I wanted to stencil dirty things on the bags,
Yeah.
but I did not.
I
Because
know.
it's public television.
I was wondering if the outtakes are.
Yeah. I always think about, the fact
Yeah.
that, wouldn't it be funny to, yes, and you could do that at your own party. You could put whatever you'd like.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. No one's judging anyone,
You could do
So,
an
yeah.
exclusive You Bloom video, Jay, that just has you doing dirty words on.
Right. Let's stencil dirty words on here. Okay, great. I did a little fast run because I think this repurposing food containers is very important because you asked some really good questions.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to first ask about Jennifer, too, because she was great and you both had such great chemistry.
So you are going to see Jennifer a lot. She was in season 1 in the Flower Power Challenge.
Okay.
She's in this season. She's in every season because, so for those of you who are maybe too young or for those of you who remember, but Carol Burnett would always talk about Jim Neighbors being her good luck charm. And she would have Jim Neighbors on her show every year. And she would just have him. Sometimes he was the start of the season, sometimes the end of the season, sometimes in the middle. Didn't really matter, but he was her good luck charm. I have adopted the same thing about Jennifer. So Jenn and I she was actually the first person I ever did live television with in Grand Rapids. She was on early mornings and I had to go down to the television station at 5 a.m. and do a live spot with her. She's hysterical. She's Filipino. Her family is from Hawaii, though. Like many of her family members are buried in Hawaii. So, like, we have that in common. She is a perpetual prankster. She will always play a trick on you. She is, I think, less than 5 feet tall. She's tiny. She's a little bitty. And so she's always on boxes. She's also on Apple boxes when she's on the sets with me to try and get us at least kind of the same height. Aaron Offsider is another guy who's on the show who's a giant. Aaron and her he was the weather guy while she was on TV. And that was always funny because they were so different in height. She's so much fun. She's always up for anything. She loves to eat. She is supposedly starting her own television show. And if you're listening, you're not doing it, and you need to get on it, girl, because she's been offered a spot already on public television.
Oh, great.
She wants to do a travel show about traveling with diabetes because she's diabetic.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Cooking for diabetics and stuff like that too. So I think it would be wonderful. But she loves to eat. She loves to drink. So that not necessarily all good things for diabetics. And right now she works for Broadway Grand Rapids. So she is like the promoter for the shows that are coming to town and gets to go see the shows in New York, which is a perfect job for her. She's no longer at the public television station, or excuse me, she was WZZM. She was on ABC here in Grand Rapids. She is really, really fun, and we always have way extra outtakes whenever Jenn's there, because who knows what's going to happen. And she did say that I've inspired her to put flowers, and her journey of flowers has been very big. And she buys flowers and makes them for herself at home now, which I think is a huge deal, or gives them to other people.
It's fun to hear people tell you that on the air, Jay, because you're like, oh, I've noticed myself that I do that as well, and that you've rubbed off on me in that way. And it's like you totally have an impact on people that are watching it, whether they're a guest on the show or just watching.
That's why we also created the viewer feedback, because we get so much.
Oh, yeah.
We have thousands of pictures of what people have created.
Mm-hmm.
And so then with our friends at Ocean Breeze, we started the Share Your Schwanke sweepstakes, where we give away a box of flowers every week to those people who send in their stuff. And that you send in your pictures and go to our website and look up Share Your Schwanke sweepstakes, because there's things we need. We need your physical address. We need your phone number. We need your email address. And we don't need them for any other purpose except to send you the flowers if you win. Every picture goes into the bin. So you have to send information with every picture you send. I had a lady the other day who said, I send you pictures all the time. Why do I have to give you this information? Because that picture's autonomous. Each picture is autonomous, and it goes into the bin to be drawn, a weekly blind drawing every week to be pulled out of that hat. And if it doesn't have information on it, it can't win. And you want as many chances to win, right? Right? Everybody wants. So if you send me 10 pictures, you want 10 chances, right? Right? You don't want one chance, So yeah, so it's very interesting. But that's why we started it, because people would say, I was inspired by this. And it's interesting. I will tell you this, and this is a fascinating fact. People will send me stuff and say, I was inspired to create this arrangement, and so I wanted from your show, and I wanted to send it to you. And I always send them back a note and say, did you want to be in the Share Your Schwanke sweepstakes? And they're like, wait, no, what is that? And it's like, so you were just sending me a picture that you created because it was inspired by my show.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It is not an instigation that has been started by the sweepstakes. It's in spite of it. And I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That people are so proud of what they create, and that we are empowering them to do that. That is something I didn't expect, but something I am so thankful and grateful for that has happened with the show. Because it's you and Amanda, it's our friends Brad and Kelly in Florida. It's all these people. It's everybody. We get them every day. Every day they come in. So I think that it is proving to us that people, really want to do that. Jenn does a great job because she wants to arrange the flowers, and I think and she will do anything. So that's great. And I have had her in all sorts of different places. I like that. It is true. The more you practice, the better you get. Don't you think you're better at it now?
Yeah. I totally, and I go into it with an idea too, it's like I kind of have this is how I'm going to approach it this time. Right. Whereas, when early on it was just like, all right, let's see what happens. Now it's like you kind of think about it in advance, and you do it different than the last time or improve upon the last time. So yeah, I totally think so.
I think that's interesting too, because one of the things that I've talked about many times is I make my arrangements backwards because I make them towards the camera.
Oh, right.
How I've grown up to deal with that. But at the same time, I also draw a picture, and I don't necessarily always physically draw a picture, but I draw a picture in my mind. And I am drawing that picture in my mind and looking at that picture in my mind as I'm making it backwards. And I want to do a show about that.
Oh, that would be a cool concept.
Because it is part of that drawing experience. And I think it's like the sketches, like when we went to the Van Gogh Museum and you could see the sketches that Van Gogh did, or we went to a museum, we saw what Leonardo da Vinci's sketches look like. Those sketches are an important part of the process.
Right.
And so I think we need to validate them by giving an episode about drawing. What you're going to create. And it can be really simple. And I had friends who taught me, because they were like, well, what if you did this and this, and it started off being, and it still is kind of circles that represent, the form and shape of the flowers being put together into a geometric combination that creates the bouquet. And I think that's a kind of a simplistic approach to it, but I think it's also important. So, and I have told people many times, especially people who are going to be in competitions, draw it out. Draw out what you think you're going to create. I belong to American Institute of Floral Designers, and every year there are people trying to get into that, and they have to go to a surprise package where they give them flowers and they have to create 5 arrangements with them. And I was like, draw it out. Set a few minutes aside and draw out what you're going to make with the flowers that are in front of you. And they're like, that made it so much easier.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, of course it did, because you're planning. It's always great to have a plan.
Right.
Oh, it's always great to have a plan. And it precludes me sometimes in my life because I always want a plan. Do we have a plan for this? No, spontaneity is the point today, Jay. Oh, I need a plan. I like that the artichoke made her laugh. And I think that the artichoke was very cute, because those artichokes grow on those long stems.
Yeah.
We never see them that way in the grocery store, because thank God, because they're sold by weight.
Yeah.
You don't want that stem because you're not going to eat it.
I thought it was funny. She was scared of it, and you were like, well, then you have to use it.
Right. We need to give it to you to use this.
Yeah.
You must.
You must conquer your fear.
With that show, I simply just took some bigger food containers. It was the gallon of olive oil I get, and I just used a can opener to cut off the top, so it became a vase.
It looked really cool.
The tomato can that was on the table was also ended up in another show on UBloom because we made that too, but that just became a prop in that one. So like a lot of times if you see arrangements on the show that the arrangement wasn't made on the show, 99% of the time over on ubloom.com is that arrangement being made, so you could see how it's made. So that's the value of having, to go into the UBloom website and looking at things over there too, so you can see how those things are made. So hydrangeas, fabulous. The hydrangeas were wonderful in this. Flower tip was making the water tight, and that's why I told you about it at the very beginning of the show, because you're going to have to finish up. So there you go. Oh, yeah, the outtakes too. The outtakes. I've told you when we were in the kitchen, you have 9 people in the kitchen. And so 9 people are trying to film, and there's 4 cameras set up, and everybody's doing everything. There's a sound person, and there's all this stuff, and everybody's back there, and Kelly's checking to make sure I don't say the wrong thing. So I just would lay down on the floor in the kitchen when they were filming B-roll. And so they were like, well, where is he? I'm just laying down. I was resting behind the counter because there's nowhere else for me to go and not be in the way. So yeah, it was easier to stay there.
And then when you did pop up, it was so funny.
Yeah. So watch the outtakes. The outtakes are always there for that purpose. So most of the time they're pretty funny. So thanks so much, RJ.
Yeah, thanks,
I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Pohl. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it with a friend to help us spread the joy, one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us. And hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out ubloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find Behind the Bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.